What's happening, everybody? I'm Big Temp with the Cave Cast. This is Big Mike. As you guys all know, this is the playoff divisional round weekend, and we got some great games that are up. I, uh, I for one, am looking forward to every game. As a Chief fan, I'm looking, mostly towards the matchup between the Chiefs and the Houston Texans. We did have a matchup against this team not too long ago. I want to say probably about closer, about what, three games ago. The Chiefs were 13-1 at the time. So, and that matchup, the Chiefs did prevail in that matchup, wound up winning that game 27-19. The matchup now, everybody seems to think that since that game has passed, that is also the game that Tank Dell was actually injured in the game for the Houston Texans. Everybody seems to think that the Texans actually are going to come out and play better in this game in Arrowhead than they did the first game this year in Arrowhead, which was probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know if I say that's true. I'm also hearing these things about how the Houston Texans have this juggernaut of a defense, and they were built to beat teams like the Chiefs.
But they talking about them like they the '85 Bears all of a sudden. I literally watched Acho. I literally watched Acho say none of the Chiefs receivers can beat any of the Texans DBs,
Oh,
as if they
yes.
got Champ Bailey and freaking Darrell Revis out there all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah. I did hear him say that, and it kind of irritated me because I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Worthy catch a touchdown pass on Stingley in that game?
and I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, it was on Lassiter,
Are you sure?
because Lassiter was the one. You talking about the one where he went under on the left side for the touchdown?
It would have been the right side. I could have swore it was on the right side, and I think it was Stingley that he was on.
No, the one I'm talking about was on Lassiter for sure. I just watched it
Okay.
earlier.
Well, I'm
No, but
watching it
what I'm
right.
saying is, I'm hoping that Reed lines him up with Lassiter, worthy, because you want to talk about he gonna get.
All I can tell
Uh,
you is what I
uh.
don't understand is how people have this. Okay, number one, the weather is going to be cold. It's going to be cold in Kansas City. This weekend, everybody understands that it's going to be, freezing conditions, right? I don't know how the Houston Texans are going to play in the cold weather, but I do understand that the Chiefs, they've played in cold weather games, especially when it counts. If you guys don't remember what happened last year when they played Miami, and it was one of the coldest days on record in Kansas City, and then they went on the road and played in Buffalo. Another frigid day, right? So all I can say is I'm not really worried about Kansas City in the weather conditions, right? But to say that you're not worried about the Houston Texans when it comes to the weather, I don't know if I could say that because, Houston is more of a warm weather city, right? So that's one. Number two, Stroud is missing his two of his starting wide receivers. I won't say best. He still has Nico Collins, but he's missing Stephon Diggs. Diggs has been gone for quite some time. And then the injury to Tank Dell about 3 weeks back, or 3 or 4 weeks back, and when they played Kansas City the first time this season, is actually going to hurt them, right? I understand that they have Mixon, who's a very good running back, but I also understand that the Chiefs are hard to run against. That's a hard team to run against. You can ask any team in the league, they're very
Top
hard
five
to
in
run
run
against.
defense.
Top 5 in run defense, right? So I don't think they're going to beat them on the ground. That's just my take. I don't think that. I mean, they may come up with some scheme that they've cooked up for just in case, for just this reason, right? Right. but I don't see it. The other thing about this matchup is the Chiefs now will have almost their full offensive disposal. You know, they're going to be almost fully, you know, at every position except for wide receiver. They won't have Rashee Rice, right? They've got
Yeah, he's the only major one that's not playing. So
yeah. So you've got Hollywood Brown, who, in fact, his first game playing coming back this season was against the Texans in about 4 weeks ago, right? And he actually played very well. That was his first game back. Now he's been back for 3 games. He's had rest on top of that, going into the this bye anyway, and now this week here he gets to come back out. I think Mahomes and company are going to actually put up some numbers this weekend. I really do.
hey, what's I don't know if you noticed this too. That's how I know Andy Reid been kind of holding back. You notice that all of a sudden, Noah Gray hasn't really been a focal point in the offense. All of a sudden,
Well, of
haven't you
course,
noticed that? Like
I've
all of a
noticed it.
sudden,
Yeah,
he hasn't really done much at all. They haven't really been using. Not that they actually need to,
no,
because I think especially ever since they got Hollywood back, they're gonna
yeah,
kind of creep him back in that conversation here in the playoffs, real like for sure. So I just thought that was
yeah.
kind of interesting.
I think it's interesting, and I also think it's interesting that people are discounting what the Chiefs defense is going to do because if I recall, in the game about 3 weeks ago, when the Houston Texans visited the Chiefs, the Texans threw 2 interceptions in that game. One was to Jaden Hicks, the strong safety, and the other one was to Trent McDuffie, who actually had back-to-back picks 2 games in a row, right? So that, to me, is very telling because they put enough pressure on Hicks and confused him a little bit to where he was actually throwing into coverage or he was throwing the ball too soon, right? So
And they also saying that Watson's supposed to be starting.
I heard
He
that.
will start.
I heard that. So to me,
So
Stroud was throwing into double coverage and he was throwing into situations where he was throwing the ball too early or his timing was off. And I think people are not understanding that the defense will probably pretty much be at full capacity if Jalen Watson comes back. Think about that. And that's on the defense. So I'm really waiting to see this game. Chris Jones will be back. You know, he missed the game when he played against Pittsburgh. And by him sitting out for the last 20 something days, this has helped him heal, give him a chance to rest up. He's going to come back refreshed. I think that's going to do nothing but help him as well.
I
Help and
think Connor's
hope.
supposed to be back too.
Yeah. Oh, for real? They did say he would be back? Hmm.
Everybody's been practicing.
Well,
Everybody.
I
The only one that's had a limited practice is Nicole. It's the only one.
so here's the deal. The line was at 7.5, right, as far as points go, in favor of the Chiefs. My thing is they won this last game by 8 points, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that was Mahomes' first time actually having all his weapons back at once, right? He's now had a couple of games to play with them. The last game of the season for all the starters was the Pittsburgh game, and they could have put up 30 plus points in that game, but they didn't. They put up 29. In the game against the Texans, they actually could have put up more points, but they actually took a knee late in the game, like a slide. I want to say it was Kareem
Is
who
that the
slid.
one? Is that the one where Kareem slid out or he
Yeah,
slid down?
yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, we definitely
yeah.
could have went up
So
more.
they could have put up more points, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I think this offense is starting to heat up. I think they're starting to get to that point where things are starting to look better. The only thing I think that could hurt them is if we have some stupid kind of mistakes on the offensive line by Jawan Taylor, which I'm hoping he's got his shit together now. He won't be.
He hasn't been too bad lately, though. These
Yeah,
last couple games, he's been pretty solid.
I'm just hoping that he stays
Sure.
that way. You know, with a little
And you
with
know what
this
nobody's talking about either?
what?
So Watson coming back, right?
Yeah,
This will be the first game that we've got both Watson and Charles Omenihu playing as well.
yeah,
With that, like that combination, because remember before Watson got hurt, the Chiefs' defense was elite. They
yeah,
were playing lights out. Couldn't
yeah,
nobody do nothing against them.
yeah. And a mini who hadn't even
But they didn't
started
have a
playing yet.
Omenihu yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
So
if Jalen Watson can be anything like he was, if he can even be 80% of that,
true.
that's gonna be huge.
I don't
Like
know how many snaps
I,
I'm going to
people
see him.
sleeping, people
I don't know.
sleeping on the defense, man. I'm
I
telling
don't
you.
know how many snaps I'm expecting for him to be playing in this game. I don't
I
know if it's
wouldn't
going to
say a
be a.
whole lot. I wouldn't
I
say a
don't think
whole
it's
lot,
going
but
to be a lot.
he'll get taken in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They'll have a
which is
rotation
fine.
for him. They'll have a
Yeah, they'll have a
rotation for him.
rotation for him for sure.
So
I do want to see him on the outside though, so that if you can put him on the outside, kind of just like what they was doing before,
yeah,
and
what are
then you
you
could.
thinking? What are you thinking as far as you know? Do you think that Tooney's going to start at left tackle, or you think they're going to actually put Humphreys in?
I think Humphrey is going to be up.
Hmm.
Here's my thing. At the end of the day, if they have to go back to Tooney, they can do that. That's the
True.
beauty of it.
That's true.
My thing is though, the line overall
Yeah.
for passing and running, Tooney with Humphreys is the ideal situation. If Humphreys can hold
Yeah.
up, which I
I
think
that
I think he can,
I'm hoping
because
that I'm
the
hoping you're
running
right
game has
about that.
been bad. The running game's been bad since Tooney's been out from that left guard spot. We're
It
gonna
has not
need more
been
from the.
yeah, it has not been ideal.
It has not been good at all.
Yeah.
And we're going to need more from the running backs in terms of being efficient running the ball in the playoff. We're going to need that. So, yeah, I'm expecting Tooney to be at guard and then Humphreys at tackle. And if it's not working out, they'll just revert back to Tooney and then it'll be
We'll
that.
see.
It's as simple as that. So,
We'll see. So in this game, I do expect the Texans to do exactly what they've done all year on defense. The last time we played them,
all right.
I want to say Al Shahir did not play. I want to say Al
Oh, they
Shahir did
didn't
not.
even have a sack that game against the
No, they.
Chiefs.
I think they did. I think they
Are
did.
you sure about that?
I'm pretty
Because
sure they had. I'm pretty sure they had one sack. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, man. I could have sworn.
But
I'm about
the
to look.
last, the game that they played against the Texans about 4 weeks ago, the Texans did not have their starting middle linebacker in Al Shahir. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I could be pronouncing it wrong, but they did not have him. He will be available this game. That does make a difference over the middle for them. And on top of that, the the stakes are higher, right? This is for a chance to go to the AFC Championship. I think that the Chiefs are going to have to be ready to see blitzes from different angles. They may have to leave a running back in to chip a couple of times, depending on how much, how many people they send. And I also think that one of the key elements in this game is going to be how well is Butker's knee? Because I do understand that we want to score touchdowns, but if it's a tight game and we have to kick field goals, I hope that
I think
his
he was just.
leg.
I think he was just rough.
They said the problem with him is that the surgery was on the plant leg, right? So the plant leg has been the problem, right? So it's probably just he's got to get back to the point where the strength is the same or close, and also trusting that leg, right? Being able to trust that leg and get it out of his head, right? So, uh, also, one of the things we really look forward to is, can Hollywood Brown actually get a chance in the end zone? I'd love to see Hollywood get a fucking touchdown this
I'm gonna
game.
be honest. I would too. I'm gonna be honest, man. I think the X factor for this entire playoff is Xavier Worthy. I actually think Xavier is about to go off. I have a strong feeling that he's gonna have, especially with Hollywood back now.
Yeah.
Telling you, I just have a strong feeling that Xavier is gonna have him some game, and he's gonna score some touchdowns and with some big plays in these playoffs, man. I got a strong feeling about it.
Okay, so I tell you
So,
what are you calling as
and
a
they've been
score?
going to him a lot, huh?
What are you calling as a score in this game? What do you think the outcome is going to be in this game? They said that the line is at 7.5 in favor of the Chiefs. What are you saying the score is in this game?
Okay, so they won by 8 the last time.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know where the Texans points are coming from because they don't listen. They
Yeah.
lost Tank Dell. They lost Tank Dell. So you don't really have another like really reliable weapon at the receiver spot outside of Nico.
Yeah.
And other than that, okay, you got Joe Mixon. Okay, so you got those two players. They scored what 17 or 19 points the last game.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, because it was 19 to 27 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, don't know where their points are coming from. I'll tell you this: if the I don't know, man. I think the Chiefs win at least by like 10 to 14 points. That'll be a two-score game at least for me. That's what I'm thinking. Because I don't think offensively the Texans have enough. And I'm tired of everybody sleeping on the Chiefs' defense. I don't understand why everybody talking about the Texans defense like the Chiefs don't have a good defense as well. That
True.
doesn't make any sense to me. You got Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie on the opposite end. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm taking Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie over everybody on that defense put together.
Well,
And it's not even close.
here's
And then
what
you got Spags. Come
yeah.
on, bro.
Here's what I'm
Come
going
on.
to say. I think that these are the things I think that are going to actually people are forgetting about. And I'll give my what I'm going to say as far as the score goes. Okay, so I think there's a couple of things people are forgetting. Number one, a lot of these people, a lot of these reporters, a lot of these sports enthusiasts, a lot of these talking heads, even some of the players, they have basically forgotten who the fuck Patrick Mahomes is. And it was apparent when it came to the Pro Bowl voting. And
Man.
I also think that y'all don't understand that every fucking year y'all do this shit, and petty Mahomes comes back to the playoffs. So if petty Mahomes shows up, which I think he is,
And he just had his baby girl
and
too.
he just had his baby girl, I think he's going to take it out on a bunch of teams. And the first team I think that's going to feel this is going to be the Houston Texans. I don't understand how people have been this stupid because, Mahomes kind of acts to me like Jordan did when he was in his time. You've heard the stories about how Mahomes has, been in the room when they were talking about who's the best QB in the league, and Mahomes is like, I'm QB1, and stuff to that nature, right? And then you don't vote him into the Pro Bowl this year. On top of that, okay, well, you know what they say. I remember when the Buffalo Bills said, now they got to come here. Now they got to come to our house. And before that game, Patrick didn't say nothing. But after that game, he told them in the locker room, he said, this is what they asked for.
Yeah, I remember that.
Y'all are fucking doing exactly
Y'all poking
what
the bear. I'll say that for
exactly.
sure.
You're doing
Definitely
exactly
poking
what
the
you
bear.
shouldn't be doing, right? And that's fine.
And hey, Dad, what do I say every year? Talk about the Chiefs. What do I say every year? I want them to be
The
under the
underdog. Yeah,
radar,
nobody's
the
talking about them.
underdog. I don't want nobody. I want everybody talking about how they're not gonna do shit. Mahomes is falling off.
Yeah.
It's their time to lose. They just keep doing it.
But you know what's
They
funny?
they thrive under as being underdogs.
And,
This is what this is their element. They love it. It's what
and
they. It's what they.
this
It's just
is
what they do.
and I'm gonna get it back to what I was gonna say about this. Okay, so, but this is exactly why I say people tend to. It's revisionist history, right? All last season they said the same shit. The Chiefs were at their lowest point. They were going to lose every playoff game that they were in. Every time they were going to go up against somebody, it was they were
Same
not
thing,
they weren't
Stu.
going to win,
It was
right?
the. It was about the line. It was
Yeah.
about the weapon. It was the same thing. It's
Do
crazy.
you know what's the funniest part about that is at the end of the season and all the fucking chips have been laid on the table and it was nut up or shut up time. And then the Chiefs wind up winning the Super Bowl again. Back to back, consecutive, right? And then everybody said, I just don't know how you pick against the Chiefs next year. I really don't. I'm done picking against the Chiefs. As long as Patty's playing, I'm not picking against the Chiefs. And here we are, almost a full year later, and you motherfuckers have forgotten exactly what the fuck you
Doing the
said
same thing.
and what he did. Y'all can't fucking get none of this shit right. Now, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is invincible. Trust me. I'm not saying that Kansas City Chiefs can't be beat. Any team can be beat on any given Sunday. But what I
True.
will say is this. If I had a choice to pick a team that I said, hey, this is all my money on the table, which I don't bet, and I'm going to pick this team because I think that they give me the best chance of winning the Super Bowl, the team that I'm picking is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, real quick.
Because of 1-5. Because of 1-5.
You know what's crazy too? Like defense on the defensive side. So one of their problems has been, like, especially since Watson's been out, is third and long.
Yeah.
That's been a big issue with the Chiefs. With Watson coming back, now you got a lot of those other corners or DBs
Yeah.
in better spots where they should be and where they thrive at.
Yeah.
So I think if they can get that under control, like they were early on in the first half of the season, that's going to be a huge boost because now they're just going to be getting more 3 and outs and getting the ball back to Mahomes a lot more instead of having these dudes convert third and 15 all the goddamn. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm hoping that this Watson coming back and Shamari coming back that helps with stopping those third and longs because if they can do that,
Yeah.
that's gonna be huge.
So my
So
other thing, when I came down to this and I said, okay, we're playing in Arrowhead. It's going to be cold. We've already seen this team play a couple weeks back. And I'm convinced that I don't think that the Texans are that big of a threat on offense outside of Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud, right? So my thought process is, I think we have not seen the height of this offense yet, and I think we're getting ready to in this postseason. I'm picking this game to be won by the Chiefs, score probably 34-17. That's my pick. I'm saying 34-17. I think the Chiefs can actually put up. And you know, I'm not saying this because I'm a homer. I'm just saying the last couple games I have watched this team's offense get better and better now. And if they put the Humphreys out to left tackle and he's ready to go, he's not getting, whiffing on blocks and shit like that. And Tooney's back at left guard, and the offensive line can, control, the gameplay, lovely. I think if we can do that, I think 34-17 is the final outcome.
You know what's crazy? Because I kept seeing people talking about, because with the Texans and the Chargers game,
Yeah.
and people comparing that. Well, they talking about, well, look what they did to the Chargers. But I'm like, wait a minute. The Chargers had no weapons, bro.
Lad McConkey's
Outside
the
of
only weapon.
McConkey,
Yeah, that's the only
he
weapon they
was
had.
the only one. And they talking about they locked him up. The dude almost had 200 receiving
You
yards.
can't lock him up if he had 186 fucking yards.
Are you, bro? They literally was like, bro. I literally watched where they was showing like, look
Oh
how
my
they locked
God.
up Lad McConkey. Yeah, there's gonna be some plays where he didn't get off, but nigga, he had almost 200 receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And a
That's not
touchdown.
that's
And a
not
touchdown.
good. I don't and a touchdown. And yeah, exactly. And he
Yeah.
was majority of the time cooking them. And here's
Yeah.
my thing. The Chiefs have way more weapons. Not just
Yes.
receivers.
And we
Tight
haven't even
end.
talked about D Hop, who they really rested.
Exactly.
So I'm
Noah, you
sorry.
got Noah Gray, you got Kelce, you got P Ryan,
Yeah.
who's been super underrated in the past game.
Yeah.
I mean, and I actually think Pacheco. I really think this. I actually think Pacheco is going to play even better because I think that extra time off is going to help him. I
Yeah.
actually think. I don't think he was 100% all the way, and obviously he had the little rib,
Yeah.
little
The
injury or
contusion.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this little time off and extra time off is going to help him along with Kareem. I'm expecting the run game to kick up because, here's the thing. I think we were right about Reed taking a step back on them getting carries because of
Yeah.
the playoff.
Yeah.
Because
I
they have
think that's
not
what it
been
was.
running the ball. Yeah, they have not been running the ball. They were literally winning games by running the ball,
Yeah.
playing away. That's how they were winning, like
Yeah.
the first half of the season. So, yeah, the Chiefs got way too many weapons in my eyes for them to keep up. And then on the defensive side with the Chiefs, outside of Nico Collins and Joe Mixon, who do they have to worry about? You take them out of the game or you limit them.
Yeah. You
What are they
limit them.
doing? Where
Yeah.
that's why I said where are they? Where are these points coming from
There,
offensively for the
there's
Texans?
nobody else on that team that scares me besides Nico Collins. That's it. And I'm sorry, you put McDuffie on him. I think McDuffie can.
Oh yeah, McDuffie. Yeah,
Yeah.
you put McDuffie, and that's what I'm saying. You put McDuffie on him,
Yeah.
and if Watson and the other guys is out there, I trust them to take care of business with
Yeah.
everybody else.
I trust him. I trust him
So
to take care of business. So, uh, like I said, that's my thought, and we don't want to go too much further into this divisional matchup. We have other games that are going to be played this weekend, including one of the games I'm really looking forward to is going to be the I want to say it's the Commanders versus the Lions. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that is what it is. We also have the other games that I'm looking forward to, which is probably going to be the Battle Royale, as far as everybody else is talking. The
talking
battle
about
of
the Ravens and
the Ravens,
Bills.
yeah, the Ravens versus the Bills, the Battle Royale, the battle of the two MVPs, which hey, it is what it is. Let
So
them
here,
have it.
so I really want the Ravens to win because of the narrative with him and Josh Allen with
Yeah,
MVP.
yeah,
But it's like I want the Bills to win because I want to play the Bills. And I'm being dead ass. I want them to play
I
the
believe
Bills.
it.
So it's kind of like I don't know which one to, But I
Well,
really want them. I want the Chiefs to play the Bills because I'm sick of Bills fans right now.
trust
I
me.
despise. The Bengals were in my shit list. I'm not worried about them because they're not in the playoff.
Yeah.
The
So
Bills,
yeah,
yeah.
The Bills and Ravens game, I am looking forward to. I'm actually rooting for Lamar to win that game. But like you as well, I also would not mind seeing the
Oh, I
Bills
want to.
win this game so we could actually play them. Just saying.
Yeah, I want to
And
play them
they say be
motherfuckers.
careful what you wish for, but I'm not saying that I'm wishing for it. I'm just saying, it to me actually, I'll be honest, I don't give a fuck who we play. I really don't.
Me neither, and I don't think the Chiefs do either. I
So
know they don't.
Yeah, I don't really think that matters. But like I said, there's some good games coming up this weekend. I want to say the Rams are going to be playing
The
Philadelphia.
Eagles.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Hey,
There's some good
I
games this
keep
weekend.
trying to hold on. Listen, I keep trying to tell y'all. Matthew Stafford is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yeah, very
That
much
dude
so.
is a dog, bro.
We
I don't
said
care
it
what
on
nobody
this
says.
show. We said it on this show about 2 months ago. After it wasn't about 2 months ago. It was the game after the Bills and the Rams played.
They played the Bills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we said on this show that is the one team nobody in the NFC wants to see. They do not want to see
I'm
that
telling
team.
you.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to these games this weekend,
I'm trying to tell
and
people.
it's gonna be a good weekend for football. So, uh, if you guys have not, go ahead and hit that sub button, hit that like button. We have more content available here on the Cavecast. If you haven't seen all of it, go back, watch some more of the things we have available to you. We'd like to say thank you to everybody that has become a subscriber. And if you haven't, like I said, hit that sub button. We like to get more people on the channel, more conversation, and leave a like. We'd appreciate it. Other things we wanted to talk about. I don't know if you've seen it, Mike, but the other day, our beloved Travis Kelce, the greatest tight end of all time, was on the Stephen A. Smith show. And there was some things that were said, they were talking about, this season and basically how Travis seen this season, how it has gone, right? And Stephen A. pretty much asked him the question about his future, right? And these things are kind of touchy feeling. You really don't. I don't know if I've heard more people talk about these things as they're going into a Super Bowl run, But Travis had some things to say, and I want you guys to hear it.
What you doing talking about? You might contemplate retirement for?
Listen, it changes every single day, man. I love everything that I'm doing in this building, but at the end of the day, I'm not having that extreme success on the field as I have individually, man. But I'm excited. I'm excited for these next couple games to play up at Arrowhead to finish this season off. And I'll reevaluate it like I always do, and I'll probably tell myself how much I love this thing, and I'll come back next year. But it's just it's something that you have to keep into perspective, man. And I never want to get to the point where I'm not helping this team win, or I'm hurting this team more than I'm helping this
Very
team.
interesting.
So as long as I'm coming out here playing good football and enjoying coming into the building every day with my guys, you'll see me in a Chiefs uniform.
Here's the thing, right? I respect Travis. I respect Travis for his honesty. But let me ask you this, Mike.
That man ain't going nowhere.
If they win a Super Bowl, and they three-peat, my thoughts are he's gone. If he wins another Super Bowl, they three-peat, I think he's gone. Because there is nothing else for him to play for. He has done the one thing that no other fucking tight end has actually ever fucking done. And that's win 3 fucking Super Bowls in a row. It may not ever get done again if they do it. Since it has never happened, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm not speaking for Travis. I'm just saying my thoughts are if they win and three-peat, I mean, he's got everything.
Listen,
He's got everything. He's got the most famous fucking pop star in the world. He's got the money. He's got the legacy as far as what he's done as a tight end. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer all the fucking way. And on top of that, he's got a podcast show. He's an actor. He's in high demand right now. There's no reason for him to stick around.
What you're saying is reasonable. I completely agree. But if they three-peat, who's to say Mahomes ain't gonna be like,
Mahomes is probably
You know what I'm saying?
Mahomes is
Look,
probably
I'm
the
not
only fucking person who could get him to
point.
come back though.
Dad, think about this. If they three-peat, they say they get the three-peat. If they have even a smidge of an ability to go on a run the next year and four-peat, look, I'm not saying this will happen, y'all. I'm not saying, but if they three-peat, it's a possibility though. That's the thing. If they this is
Yeah.
if they three-peat. So if they three-peat, who's to say Mahomes ain't gonna be like, hey, listen, just like he did last year. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
going four. Ain't nobody ever did four. We
Yeah.
can one up this like
Ain't
running up the
nobody ever
score.
did 3.
A point. Do themselves. At that point, they can outdo themselves if they do that. Now look, I think Travis Kelce, obviously his numbers have dropped. But I think
Yeah.
that's naturally with all the younger talent that they've gotten on the team, especially with the younger receivers.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to get them the ball. You're going to try to want to get them the ball and get them more of the workload than you would Kelce. I think Kelce still had a very solid season. Like people acting like he was just garbage or something. The dude still had like 800 and something receiving yards,
Well,
and
I
he was
think
what? He wasn't even the first option really. Like I don't
yeah.
know,
And
but
I want to
if he
say
retires this year after a three-peat, I could totally understand why he would. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no questions asked. But I don't think it's all set in stone just because they three-peat. Just like,
yeah. Well,
that's just my thoughts.
here's my thing. Travis Kelce has the most career receptions in the playoffs with 165. He needs 300 something yards this playoffs, right? And I want to say 3 touchdowns
Yeah,
to break
I
the
think it's
record.
breaking Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would break the record. I think Jerry Rice's record, right? If he does all those things and they three-peat, there's nothing for him to come back for, really. He could be like, you know what, guys? This has been a hell of a ride. And I've enjoyed every last minute of it. But man, there's other things I want to do, and I don't want to go out as, I went out too late, right? Where I'm sticking around too long, trying to hang on, and this is that. No, you want to go out on top, right? So that's just my thoughts. That doesn't mean I'm right.
I mean, he said something important though. He said he didn't want to be around where he felt like he wasn't helping the team or
Exactly.
he wasn't like a big contributor.
Yeah.
But even with this year, that was far from he was far from not being a contributor and a
Yeah.
big deal on this team,
Yeah.
even with him having a down year.
Yeah.
And the dude, hold on, as a matter of fact, hold on, let me see something real quick.
I want to say the
Because
dude actually almost had 900 yards receiving this year.
yeah, he did. But this is my thing. Yeah, he didn't have 1,000 yards receiving. He had almost 100 catches.
Yeah. 100
He had
receptions.
97. He had 97 receptions. That's more than he's had in the last. He had 93 last year. He had 110 the year in 22, but he had 92 in 21.
Yeah.
The only difference really with Kelce now is he's not getting those longer
Yeah, I think
explosive plays
I want to
anymore.
say
That's the thing.
his average yards per catch was like 8.5, and this year it's dropped to like 6 something.
No, this year is at 8.5.
Is it 8.5? Maybe I got it backwards when I looked
But
at it
the
earlier.
years, but the year, this is his lowest one. That's
Yeah.
the difference, though. That's why his yards aren't there. The years before he was at, like the year before he was at 10.6.
Okay, that's what it was.
Then he was at 12.2 the year before, 12.2 the year before, and then 13.5,
Yeah,
12.7,
I got it
13.
backwards when I was looking at it earlier.
Yeah.
So here,
But
here's
that's really the difference. He's just not getting the explosive plays anymore.
yeah,
That's the
and and
difference.
and my thinking is like I said, I would not mind him coming back, but if I'm Kelce, I'm looking at it as, man, I done three-peated, I done broke all these fucking records. I don't need to come back. Now, that doesn't mean he will or he won't. I'm just saying that's how I see it. But it's always nice to hear a guy who's been there for a long time, who's put in the work, and how he talks about still wanting to be great and how he wants, and it's a team thing. He's not looking at individual statistics. He's looking at trying to be able to make his team better. It's always great to hear that. To me, it is.
You know, I don't. Hey, I wouldn't mind if he retired because you know what's gonna happen, Dad. You know what they're gonna say? Oh, can Mahomes win a Super Bowl without Travis Kelce?
You
Can
know,
he do it?
you know they will.
You know what that's gonna do. You know what that's gonna do. Mahomes gonna be like, oh, you motherfuckers think shit sweet just because Kelsey retired.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Let me show you niggas something quick. Yeah, exactly. Look, Kelsey. Either way, if you retire, we gonna be good, bro. I have full faith
Yeah.
in Mahomes and Brett Veach and Andy Reid to still get the job done. It might not be that year. Like I'm not expecting them to just go out and win 4 Super Bowls in a row if we three-peat.
Well,
But they gonna get right back on the ship.
I figured I'd bring that up, and like I said, we wanted to talk about it. What do you guys think if Kelce does win a third Super Bowl in a row? Do you think Travis Kelce hangs it up? Do you think he hangs the cleats up and says, I'm done? Or do you think he comes back to try to win again? Leave your answer in the comments. So, on to our next topic. With everything going on in the NFL, and as much as, I don't know, how should I say, attention the Chiefs get or have been getting over the past 5-6 years since the emergence of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs as odds-on favorites to win Super Bowls, we have heard this, how should I say, disdain grow bigger and louder and stronger from people who absolutely think that the NFL and the refs have rigged it for the Chiefs, and that's why they're winning all these games. And it's mostly from people, of fans of teams who basically, just hate the fact that we beat them all the time. And I say that very nonchalantly because we beat them all the time. So I don't know how else to say it. But it has come to my attention, and not only mine, that these things need to be addressed. And so there's a guy that I follow, and he's got a channel. It's called Right Angle Sports. He gives a lot of good information about these, myths, basically, these plays that apparently don't get called or the plays that do get called, and how the Chiefs are basically always getting favorable calls at certain times. And he goes on to tell this information to people, and you should see the comment section. It is literally like hit dogs that get, they holler, right? That's the old saying, a hit dog hollers. These people cannot let shit go. They cannot, especially Bengal fans. Oh my God.
Oh my God. They are the worst, bro.
Oh, I'm like, damn, this is ridiculous. But it's quite interesting, and I have some information that, as I was listening, I said, you know what? This is something I think people who are on our channel would probably like to hear. So I queued it up, and I want you guys to hear exactly what was said. Like I said, Right Angle Sports, this guy's pretty good.
If you're not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you're going to hate this video.
Yep.
It's time to put an end to the myth that referees help the Kansas City Chiefs win football games. And I think this is an important video coming up with the playoffs beginning for them this weekend. So there's 3 main ideas that I think are worth debunking a little bit. The first is that referees help the Chiefs with calls. Since Patrick Mahomes took over as the starter in 2018, the Chiefs have been called for 846 more penalty yards against them than their opponents.
But
that
we
is the
lying.
third worst differential of any team in the NFL. The referees have not been helping out the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, they've been making life hard for the Kansas City Chiefs. Offensive drives turn into touchdowns at an average of a 22% clip league-wide in the NFL.
Interesting.
Since 2018, the Kansas City Chiefs have been called for offensive holding 196 times. That's more than any other team in that time
More
span.
than any other team.
The reason that is important is because when a team sustains an offensive penalty on a drive, that 22% touchdown rate drops to 14%. So not only have the Chiefs been called for more offensive holdings than any other team, they've still been able to sustain a top-rated offense that has been very good statistically.
Did you hear that? Even though they've
I
been
watched it earlier.
called for more.
You know how many touchdowns been called back because of that?
Exactly. This is mind-boggling, and they're still winning. And they're still winning.
Really he got like 3 touchdowns that got called back just off of calls like that alone. That's like 3 touchdowns on like 200-something yards.
Despite that, as well as getting a lot of calls going against them.
Crazy.
Now, the second idea is that Patrick Mahomes always gets the calls anytime that he is touched.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot right now as you're watching. Since 2018, Patrick Mahomes has played in 112 games and has dropped back more than 4,100 times. How many times has Patrick Mahomes, over 4,100 dropbacks, been called for roughing the passer that has benefited him? How many times? 4,100 dropbacks. How many roughing the passers? The answer is only 30 in that time span. 7 seasons, just 30 total roughing the passers. That's 16th of any quarterback who has played in the NFL since 2009. Now, the third idea is that the Chiefs always get the calls when it matters most. You know, those 3rd and 10s or 4th and mediums, always those big plays when it matters the most, the referees are going out of their way to help them. What's interesting is on plays of 3rd and 10 or longer and 4th and 5 or longer, the Chiefs all season have just 2 penalties in their favor the entire year.
Just 2?
They've not been getting help in big down and distances nearly as much as other teams. That's 15th in the NFL. And in fact, when looking at penalties in the second halves of games in 2024, where it's a 1-score game either way, no team has had more flags thrown against them than the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
So when things have been tighter this season, flags have gone against the Chiefs. Now, there's a couple things to think about of why is this happening, because clearly this narrative that the referees are helping the Chiefs just isn't true. I think the first thing is that we've seen Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in 37 primetime games since he took over as the starter in 2018. There's also been 18 playoff games. So viewers watching Mahomes in the last 7 seasons have effectively watched 3 seasons worth of games in high-profile games where they're seeing him and the Chiefs consistently on their TV when football matters the most in standalone spots. These games always come with heightened and accompanying social commentary.
Yep.
You have the Twitter feed up, you've got the TikTok feed up, whatever it might be. And every time there's a call, either made or missed, it is getting a magnified reaction from everybody watching the game. And a lot of that, because we're seeing the Chiefs on our TVs more than any other team, is centered around a team that is winning. The second thing is the Chiefs have been winning for several seasons, and that's allowed 31 fan bases from 31 other. So we all know it. You have somebody in your group chat, or maybe that person is you, that always complains that the referees help the Chiefs. I think this is a good video to share in your group chat before a kickoff on Saturday, or even during the game when it comes up, because there's a lot of people on the side that the Chiefs are helped by the referees. As you can see in this video, it just isn't true.
He said because there's 31 other teams.
You know what's not helping that? Like, you know why? Like, people are really pissed off about it. It's because despite all that, they're still winning.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
That's
if they
what
were
I'm
losing,
saying.
Nobody would care. Yeah, nobody would care.
Shout out to Right Angle Sports. That, to me, that was so brilliantly done. The way he was able to break that down, give the information, completely decimate those myths, right?
I mean, you know, people are already trying to dissect it and make it.
Of course they are.
They over here. Oh, but this stat says that because Mahomes threw this ball here and they didn't call it, even though Chris Jones in the previous play on defense was getting held by 5 different people,
you know,
right in front of the ref's face, and they don't say nothing.
It, to me, one of the oddest things to be in this world, right, is a fan of a team that you know is bad, right? Because you can look at good teams and you can understand what a good team looks like, right? But to be a fan of a bad team and then blame it on the refs or the
Bro,
NFL
that's
rigging
like
things and not
that's
understand
like that.
and what they want to do is they want to blame everybody else, but the fact of the matter is your team is just not good enough yet. Your ownership has not done a good enough job of getting a crew together or a team together to actually make waves. The Detroit Lions have been bad for years. Have been bad for years. The ownership got a good coach in there and he made changes. He made
The
changes.
GM, the
The
GM
GM did, yeah, the GM
really been
did.
putting in
But
work.
the GM did what he was supposed to do and he hired a great coach. I like
I
him.
agree.
Okay, I like him. But that's what you do. That's what you do. But these teams who have these fans who are so fucking delusional that they have to come up with these lies.
Dad, I literally had to argue with a Falcons fan.
Oh yeah,
A fucking Falcons fan, bro.
and that's sad.
He's like, y'all only won because of the refs. Nigga, y'all don't win with the refs. Y'all suck. At least if we win because of the refs, we actually win. Y'all still lose.
You
I'm
know,
sick of it. A
here's
Falcons fan said this.
yeah, they've been bad and horrible for years too. So listen, I know what it's like to have a bad team. I know what it's like to go
We've
through
been
losing
there.
seasons. But I
2 and
also
12.
know, yeah, I also know what it takes to get to this point where the Chiefs are at now. And it wasn't quick. It wasn't fast. It was a long journey. You have to remember that. This was a long journey to get to where the Chiefs are now. And they went through the fucking pounding their head up against the wall, trying to get things right.
Bro, I'm gonna give y'all some perspective. We literally lost a playoff game up by 38 points.
God, don't remind me about that.
I'm gonna
Oh my
repeat that.
God, that's
I'm gonna repeat
so.
that for the people that didn't hear that. I'm gonna
I
repeat that for the
remember
people that
that.
didn't hear that. Hold on, give me a second. The Kansas City Chiefs lost a playoff game up 38 points. 38. And then you got Bills fans and Eagles fans, all this crying to my, oh, you don't know hurt and pain
No.
until you go through shit like that.
And
Oh, not to mention, we lost to a quarterback that caught a pass to himself
oh God,
1 year.
yeah.
You remember that bullshit?
I remember when
Oh,
we lost in the playoffs to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was nothing but field goals that
nothing
beat
but
us.
field goals. Nothing but field goals.
Look, I'm gonna
We
say this.
listen. We went through the look. We went through the trenches.
I'm going to say this, and I want everybody out there to understand. I don't care what team you're a fan of. If you're a fan of the Bengals, if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys,
I don't like them niggas.
if you're if you y'all have to excuse Mike.
I'm just saying, man.
If you're a fan of the I don't know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, whoever it is, right? You have to remember something. You can't be great forever. It comes and goes. And it's turns that happen with this, right? 1 year, maybe 3 years, this might be the best team. Look at the 49ers right now. The 49ers in the 80s, one of the greatest franchises there was, right? And then they went through some bad spells, all this shit, right? But now you look at them now, and here within the last 5 to 10 years, especially the last 5 to 6 years, they had very good teams, very well put together. John Lynch did an amazing job of getting talent on that team. He hired a great coach. And they had a window. They had a window where they went to Super Bowls and they just couldn't win it. This, by far, is one of their worst years that they've had, right? They did not have a good season this season. And that team has gotten older. I said it some time back. It's been a while. I think I said it at the beginning of the season that the 49ers, I think their window had been closed. It was early in the season. I think their window had closed. I didn't think they were going to actually make it back to another Super Bowl. And the older that team gets, the older the contracts get, the more money that team has to pay out. They're going to start letting guys go. Guys are going to start asking or looking for trades. This is the nature of the beast. So when you get a team and you need to take advantage of it, as far as especially having a great quarterback, you have to draft well. And you have to have a GM that's willing to actually listen to the scouts and be able to make great decisions. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So you mentioned, I just thought about something when you mentioned the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
So there was this thing I seen on Twitter. This dude, he was talking about the Chiefs, the teams they played in the playoffs, and what has happened to them in the aftermath. And when you said something about the 49ers, it reminded me of this because I'm going to just read this real quick. He said, now we're looking at the Chiefs' victims since they've been playing them in the playoffs since 2018.
Yeah.
Right? So the Colts fell to them in the 2018 playoffs and have played in only one postseason game since then. In the 2019 playoffs, Kansas City took down two AFC South franchises. The Houston Texans fired 3 coaches in their next 3 seasons, and the Tennessee Titans went one and done in the next 2 postseasons, and ultimately blew up the front office, coaching staff, and roster. 14 months after losing the Super Bowl, Super Bowl, the Niners wasted 3 first-round picks on quarterbacks or on quarterback Trey Lance, thinking he had the physical tools to replicate Mahomes' success.
Yeah.
Then he says, after that, the Cleveland Browns missed the playoffs in 2021, a season after failing to the Chiefs. So they gave up on a quarterback, Baker Mayfield, and acquired Deshaun Watson in a move that will go down as one of the worst trades in history. The Eagles lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, then went one and done in 2023, which led to questions about Nick Sirianni's job security. 2 of the Chiefs' 2023 postseason opponents, the Miami Dolphins and the 49ers, were a shell of their former selves and missed the playoffs. Now, the reason why I say that is because every single one of them teams, they have fell off a cliff. Look at the 49ers right now.
Exactly.
The Miami Dolphins are the same way. Remember when everybody was saying the Miami Dolphins was going to be this next? You know what I'm saying? They're not even close to what they were last year. And I get Tua was hurt. But my point is that all these teams that the Chiefs have knocked off, they've had to do a complete rehaul and restructure of their entire franchise for the most part.
Yeah.
The Eagles, the thing that saved the Eagles wasn't even Jalen Hurts. It was Saquon, and they got lucky.
Yeah.
Because if Saquon wasn't there, I'm not sure
I don't think they're as good as I don't think they're as good as they are right now. I don't know if I would say they wouldn't make the playoffs, but they could be in jeopardy.
Yeah, look at the quarterback play. The quarterback play is terrible. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is not playing good at the quarterback position.
No.
130-something yards, that's not good, bro. In the playoffs, look, Saquon going to have to be on some Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pretty.
I think he can do it, but I don't know, man. I just wanted to give y'all that.
Here's the thing about the playoffs. You have a bunch of good teams, right? I will say that the wild card round wasn't as good as it has been in past years, at least not to me. There was one game that I actually thought was really good, which was the Commanders versus Tampa Bay. That was a really good game. The
Chargers
rest
was
of,
undermatched.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
the rest of,
Chargers didn't have enough. They didn't have
no,
enough.
the Chargers were
And Herbert,
underwhelming. The
Herbert was
yeah, the Texans, pretty much, they got the game that they needed to get to try to give themselves some confidence going into
But
the
you know what's
next
funny
round.
with that? You know what's funny with that? In that first half of the game, they neither team was playing good.
No, they were not. The Bills, they beat Denver, but like
Expected.
it was expected. I did say, last week when we had our show that I had picked the Bills to win that game, but if it was close and close late, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver pulled it out, right? And the Ravens beat the Steelers, which everybody pretty much knew the Steelers were going to win that game, or the Steelers were going to lose that game because they had been on a downward spiral for the last 5 fucking weeks. They are any team that goes 10-3 and then loses its last 5 games going into the playoffs. They were not going to do shit
I'm gonna be honest, and
coming into the playoffs.
Thomason might need a change of scenery, man, because
Wow.
that ain't look. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Not
What?
well, because he has Super Bowls. I will say that, but it kind of reminds me of the Andy Reid situation.
Yeah, I mean,
He was in
true.
Philly,
Yeah.
you know.
What do you think of this situation where Mike McCarthy is now out as the Dallas Cowboys head coach, and there are talks that Jerry Jones is trying to court Deion Sanders or
It's
coax
not him.
into
I don't
coming
believe it.
down to the Cowboys?
You know
I don't
why?
believe it either because Jerry's not
You
going to
know
give enough
why?
control. He's not going to give up enough control.
Exactly.
He's not going to.
Exactly. He's not going to let Dion do his job. He's not going to be hands off with and let Dion do his job. It's not happening. I'm sorry. It's not.
Yeah.
Cowboys fans, you might get Matt Nagy.
Oh my God.
Y'all can have Matt Nagy, man. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know how you feel about Matt
Super Bowl,
Nagy. You know how I feel about Matt
Super
Nagy.
Bowl winning.
Hey, here's a question for you, and this is for all the Cowboy fans out there. If you guys are still watching this, would you be okay if they made took a look at a guy such as an Eric Bieniemy? But I'm saying,
As much as I would love that for Bieniemy, I don't think he. I don't know, man. He's been getting blackballed for so
but I'm
long.
saying he's been won the head coaching position for so long. He's won multiple Super Bowls.
This
Why
Jerry
not?
Jones will come out, man.
Why not Jerry Jones, who doesn't want to pay nobody really, who wants to lowball somebody? You put Eric Bieniemy on a 2 or 3 year contract and see what this dude can do. Everybody fucking talks about how great of a coach he is, especially the Chiefs players. Why not give him a fucking chance? I'm just saying. There's other coaches out there besides him.
You know what the problem I have. You know what the problem I have though is that they don't even really give these coaches a chance in general because
No, they don't.
They firing dudes after 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, what are the Patriots doing?
Oh, God.
What are you doing? You gave him 1 year. What was he going to do in 1 year?
Gerard
That makes
Mayo,
no sense to me.
but that's the reason why if I'm a coach, especially a minority
Terrible.
coach, I'm not fucking with New England. I'm not
Yeah,
fucking with New England. And
that
I'm
was
sorry.
terrible,
That's the main thing. I am not fucking because Gerard Mayo is a Patriot. So you fire him after 1 year to bring in another former Patriot and Mike Vrabel. Wasn't Vrabel available last season too, or this season before this?
And you know what's crazy? Yeah, he was. But you know what's crazy about that too? They try to pull that bullshit of them interviewing Teddy. Who was it? It was two other black coaches that they interviewed apparently, knowing damn well they was gonna hire Vrabel the whole time.
Oh, I couldn't tell you who it
You
was.
knew. I can't remember who. I can't think of their names right now. Yeah, I just can't remember.
Well,
But I'm like, y'all knew y'all wasn't gonna hire them anyway. Like,
No.
cut to the chase, man. Y'all full of shit. That
Yeah.
was that was that was terrible. And there's been a couple of firings at the coaching, not just head coaching, but like offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, especially defensive coordinator with the Bengals. I don't think that was a good decision.
Yeah. Lou Anarumo
I
should
don't know
never
what
have
some
been
of these
fired.
teams. Yeah, that was terrible, bro.
Yeah. He
I'm
did the
sorry.
best he could with what he had. And I'm going to be honest with you, what he had over there. Uh,
Nothing.
yeah.
After you let everything go, you let everything
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah. So, and I was just thinking out loud. The Cowboys, they would not, I don't think they would be making a bad decision if they hired a guy like Eric Bieniemy. Hard
Oh, I
nosed,
believe it.
hard nosed, knows
I
how
just
to
don't
get the
think Jerry
best out
Jones
of
gonna
or the
do it.
most out of his players. Yeah, you're right. I don't think
Because
Jerry
here's the
Jones will
thing,
do it.
Dad. You know this with Jerry Jones, right?
Yeah,
Eric Bieniemy is one of them dudes that like he gonna talk his shit.
yeah, he is.
He not gonna let you. He's not gonna let you like because you know how Jerry Jones is, right?
Yeah,
I just don't think it's a good fit in terms of how Jerry Jones is and what Bieniemy is going to want to do.
I
I just don't
get
think
it.
it's a good fit.
I
I think
I
they'll clash.
I think you're
Honestly, I
right,
think they will.
but I also think that if Jerry Jones was to actually hire a real GM and give that job up as the GM, where there's a real GM there who does all that shit when it comes to football operations with
That's the
the
problem, though.
football coach and getting the talent that they can together, linked up, making sure that all these things are in line, that they can actually put a good product out on the field and let Jerry Jones just be the owner. If they can actually just get him out of that situation, no more of him being in
I
the
would
locker room,
say I would be all for it if that was the case.
I would think that that could actually work. I think Eric Bieniemy is a good coach. I really do, and I don't know why he's been blackballed the way he has, but I also understand that he probably is the kind of coach that's not going to take no shit. I hope and pray one of these days Eric Bieniemy gets a chance to become a
But
head
that's the
coach.
problem. But that's the problem with Jerry is that his ego and his pride is the
Most
problem.
most people with money
He's
are
not
like
gonna
that.
want. Yeah, he's not gonna want to put his ego to the side to where he's not having major decision making when it comes to building the team and making those GM decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With a dude like Clark Hunt don't want to do that. He
No.
gonna let y'all do what y'all gotta do. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just handle this business stuff with the ownership stuff, and I'm gonna let y'all take care of that. Jerry Jones, old ass, don't want to give that up. Not as long as he's there,
Oh
and that's
shit.
gonna be the problem. Because I agree, if you take away that from Jerry and they hire another GM with Eric Bieniemy's blessing,
Yeah.
then I could be like, okay, we own to something because now Bieniemy would have more control and wouldn't have to worry about fucking Jerry Jones breathing down his neck all the goddamn time. So
Yeah. True.
I
Very
would love
true.
for it to happen. I would love for it to happen. But the way that Eric Bieniemy is, he ain't got to worry about. He didn't have to worry about shit like that with Clark Hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to worry about that. He ain't got to worry about Clark Hunt's ego.
I don't
You know?
know. I just, it's weird to me that we're even having this conversation, but because it's the Cowboys, we don't try to talk about these motherfuckers that often. But
No,
I'm
you're
saying
right.
I'm saying this because listen, the Cowboys are a storied franchise, right? And as long as Jerry Jones is still the owner, I don't think they're ever gonna come out of this. I really don't. So hey, I want to cut to the chase. We have a bunch of games this weekend, and so I've already given them a score of what I think is going to happen in the Texans and Chiefs game. We have the NFL Divisional Round for the NFC, and we've got the Commanders versus the Lions. Commanders are on the road for this game. I'm taking the Commanders.
Ooh,
I'm taking the
what?
Commanders. I'm taking the. Hey man, it may not
Man,
happen, but this is my hot take. Jaden Daniels is coming to ball, and the Lions have problems with
I
fucking mobile quarterbacks. I'm
but this
taking
is
the
the only
Commanders.
problem. This is the only problem, man. And I look, I'm not. This ain't got nothing to do with Daniels. The Lions got so many fucking weapons
True.
offensively. Listen, bro, they are amazing.
I get it. I get
And
it.
Jameer Gibbs, I kept. What did I tell y'all about Jameer Gibbs? This got to be on tape because I said it before he was even
Oh,
drafted. I tried
I
to
t-
tell niggas
hey,
he
I
is
told you
he
to.
is Jamal Charles 2.0,
Hey,
and niggas didn't want to listen.
but do you remember when I told you when they played K State in that bowl game when he was at Alabama? I said this dude Jameer Gibbs is a fucking stud. Remember that? Do you remember when
I told niggas he was Jamal Charles on steroids, and y'all didn't want to listen. He
Okay,
plays
so
just
enough of that.
like
What
him.
I want to know is who you picking?
No, I was gonna say the line.
Okay, so you
Look,
picking them.
okay, just slightly, only because I don't think defensively the Commanders have enough to contain that offense. I
Okay.
just don't. I'm
I don't
sorry.
think I don't know if the Lions have enough defensively because everybody on their defense is hurt pretty much.
No, I get that, but at the end of this is the thing though. You're right. The Commanders don't have the offense that the Lions do. Like
True.
and I'm not saying that they can't put up points, but they don't have the same explosiveness. It's reminiscent of the 2018 Chiefs and the greatest show on turf. This is the kind of offense we're talking about. They're on par. They're in that lane. That's
Okay.
the kind of lane they in.
All right, so you picking the
So
Lions. You picking the Lions. I'm picking the Commanders. You picking the
as much as
Lions.
I don't want to, I'm picking the line. I'm picking them.
Okay. Next game that's going to be up, we're going to
Prove
go
me
with
wrong,
the
Daniel.
AFC. We're going with the Ravens versus the Bills. And the reason we're doing
Ah,
this is
Ravens.
because,
Fuck the Bills.
yeah,
Fuck the Bills. Ravens. Fuck the Bills. Fuck
uh,
the Bills. Ravens
you,
all day.
I think the Ravens are going to win it. But like I said, I don't really give a fuck who wins it as far as that goes.
I don't either. I just don't
I
like
think
the
the
Bills.
Ravens are going. I think the Ravens are going to win this game. I think Henry's going to have a big game. I think Henry is going to have a big game because
I hope so.
the Bills have a hard time against the run.
You know what I
So
hope? You know what I hope? I hope Kyle Hamilton sticks the shit out of Josh Allen if he try to run that ball. I hope he hits him so hard that he fumbles into the end zone, tries to crawl back to the ball, and then Hamilton comes back and is like, "Give me the fucking ball," and then runs it into the end zone
oh
and win the game
God.
for a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that, something dramatic. You know, I don't
Next
like Josh.
game, NFC is going to be the Rams versus the Eagles.
I got
I am
Rams.
I'm picking the Rams. I think hey, it would be a feel good story. I'm waiting. You know, I don't know if the Commanders are going to win this game. And I did say it would be cool to see if Stafford got a chance to go back to
Go up against the
Detroit
Lions.
and
Yeah.
go in there and play. I thought that would be pretty cool. So I'm picking the Rams, uh, just because I am not an Eagles fan, and I'll put it like this: I've got a guy, buddy of mine at work, Brandon. He's a big Eagles guy, big Eagles guy.
Oh, they annoying too, though. Oh Lord.
He's all right. I can't even say nothing about Brandon. Brandon's realistic. He talks about the Chiefs. He's even bet on the Chiefs a lot. So uh,
Shout
I'm
out to
I'm
Brandon.
yeah. I think Brandon understands that this is a big game, and it would be okay if the Eagles won. To me, but I am picking the Rams because I think it's a cool story as far as Matthew Stafford if he gets a chance to go back to Detroit if Detroit happens to win that game, right? So those are our picks. That is what now? Oh, come on. What are
He
you
must
looking
have
at?
not played. He must not play that game, bro. Jalen Hurts has been ass. Listen,
I
hold on, dog. Hold on, dog. Report
you
me
know,
in, y'all.
if we
Wait a minute.
if we ever get through this and this gets out to everybody, please, Eagle fan, don't come for me. I am not
No,
on y'all's head.
listen. This ain't about the
He
Eagles.
is.
This is about This is about Jalen Hurts, bro. You supposed to be, and look, they winning games. I get it, well, somewhat. Saquon's winning games in the defense. I don't know what Jalen's doing. 100, bro. This man didn't even have 3,000 passing yards this year.
Yeah.
He had 131 passing yards
Yeah, I'm saying
against the Packers.
he hasn't really had to pass the
Could
ball
you
that.
imagine if Lamar did that shit?
Hey, I know. Now
Now Lamar has had some like 100, but Lamar be running the ball and doing other shit too, though. Like it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know, man. Like he had 108 against the Panthers,
Yeah. Hey, I
118,
I'm not really that concerned with
57 58% completion
I'm
percentage.
not really that concerned with Jalen. You know why? Because Jalen is still got to prove that he's not, suffering from any of the,
Well, I get that too with the concussion stuff
concussion
going
stuff.
on.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah, I get that.
I'm not really that worried about it. So
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna.
I remember just a year ago, years ago, niggas was telling me he was the greatest quarterback on earth. Where y'all at? He was killing Mahomes and he
Yeah,
was
I
next
know.
up. And
Yeah,
it's amazing how things change.
it does.
Hilarious.
It
Okay,
does.
I'm done.
Anyway, this is
Y'all
our
have it.
show. This is our show. We hope you guys get a chance to come back. And we've said this before. We appreciate everybody that comes in, hits the like button. That helps us with the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button. That also helps us get out to more and more people. Share it, whatever. We like to get more people involved in the show. So if you have a comment or a question, please leave it for us. We like to get back to anybody that has a question or a comment. And if it's a good question, something that we haven't done before, maybe we will even do a show around it. It is that time of the season. It's probably our busiest time of the season. We have put out more videos this past 10 days than we have in a long time. So,
Oh, we're gonna start ramping up too.
and February 10th will be our 1 year anniversary on YouTube.
This is just
So,
the beginning. This is just the beginning.
and we are doing things that we didn't know when we first started we would be doing. And I went back and looked at our first show.
That shit was
Man,
mid.
it was so bad, so
It was
bad.
mid.
We've
I
come a
blame
long.
you.
Well, you wasn't here. You were supposed to be here that day as
You
the
right. You
co-host.
right. I wasn't. You right. You right.
But we've
You're right
come a
about that.
long way. And like I said, February 10th will be our 1 year anniversary on YouTube. And we want to thank you guys who have tuned in and subscribed to us. We really appreciate that. That's it for us today. I'm Big Tim. That's Big Mike. We want to say thank you guys. And we hope you'll join us again here at the Cast.